Hello everyone. Today I'll be explaining how human activities, especially burning fossil fuels and deforestation, are the main cause of global warming over the past century. To understand why, we first need to look at how the carbon cycle works and how it interacts with the Earth's spheres. The carbon cycle moves carbon between the atmosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. These spheres constantly exchange carbon and normally keep it balanced. In the atmosphere, carbon exists mostly as carbon dioxide. Plants in the biosphere absorb carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. Animals then eat the plants, which transfers carbon through food chains. When organisms die, some of the carbon becomes part of the lithosphere, where it can eventually form fossil fuels. The oceans in the hydrosphere also absorb large amounts of carbon from the air. These interactions show a strong relationship between all four spheres. Changes in one sphere, such as the atmosphere, affect the others. This balance is important for regulating Earth's temperature. However, human actions have begun to disturb this balance in significant ways. Human activities have added large amounts of carbon dioxide and methane to the atmosphere, which has changed the natural flow of carbon between Earth's spheres. The two most significant activities are burning fossil fuels and removing forests. Burning fossil fuels for electricity, transport, and industry releases carbon that was stored underground. This moves carbon directly from the lithosphere to the atmosphere and increases greenhouse gas concentrations. As the amount of greenhouse gases rise, more heat is trapped near the Earth's surface, which leads to global warming. Deforestation also has a major impact. Trees remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, so when forests are cleared, less carbon is absorbed. When trees are burned or left to decompose, additional carbon is released back into the atmosphere. This creates an imbalance where more carbon enters the atmosphere than leaves it. Other human activities contribute as well. Cement production releases carbon dioxide during chemical reactions, and agriculture increases methane levels through livestock and rice farming. All of these actions interfere with the movement of carbon between spheres and increase the amount of carbon in the atmosphere. This imbalance is a key cause of recent climate change. This graph shows how global carbon emissions from human activities have changed since the 1800s. For more than a century, emissions were low and fairly stable. However, after the 1950s, every major source begins to rise sharply. Coal increases first, followed by rapid growth in petroleum and natural gas. Cement production and glass flaring also rise, although at smaller amounts. The total emission line climbs to almost 10 billion metric tons per year. The strong upward trend, especially after industrialization, clearly shows that humans are adding large amounts of carbon to the atmosphere. This supports the idea that human activity is the main driver of recent global warming. This graph shows global temperature changes from the late 1800s to today. Early in the record, most years are cooler than average, shown by the blue bars. After about 1980, the pattern shifts and nearly all years become warmer than average. The red bars grow taller over time, especially after 2000, which shows that the rate of warming is increasing. Although there are a few small dips, they do not affect the clear long-term trend. This strong rise in temperature matches the period when human carbon emissions increased the most, providing strong evidence that human activity is the main cause of modern global warming. In conclusion, both datasets strongly support the claim that human activities are the main cause of recent global warming. The emissions graph shows a major rise in carbon release from coal, petroleum, natural gas, cement production, and glass flaring, especially after the mid-1900s. This rapid increase shows that humans are adding far more carbon to the atmosphere than natural processes. The temperature graph shows a matching pattern. After 1980, almost every year becomes warmer than the long-term average, with the strongest warming occurring after 2000. The timing of this rise aligns closely with the sharp increase in human emissions. Although there are small short-term variations in both graphs, they do not change the clear long-term trend. Together, the data shows that humans have disrupted the natural carbon cycle, and this disruption is the main driver of modern global warming.